Hey guys, welcome to my review of Batgirl issue number 11. Now before I get onto my review of the comic, I would actually like to show you the cover of this issue. Now I'm going to take off my bags and boards for you so I can actually show you because it actually glares in the light. But yeah, so this is the cover of issue number 11. Now I really like this cover. As you can see here, Batgirl's actually kicking one of the Nightfall members, and she's just fighting them off, and it looks just really nice. I'm going to see if you can see a close-up of her. So that's Batgirl, and there's one of the Nightfall members. I think her name is Bonebreaker. Here's another one, I forgot her name. I think this guy's name is Corrosive, something like that. But yeah, I love this cover because of the fact that it's sort of, I don't know, when I look at it, it reminds me of an anime or, you know, manga stylish kind of artwork. But that's just me. And it looks sort of really nice. And I actually saw the cover art for issue number 12 as well, with Batgirl and Batwoman actually fighting against one another. And I really love that cover art as well because it's the same thing as, or the same artist that did the cover for issue number 11. Now, on to my review. So, in the last issue of Batgirl, we actually were introduced to a new character. Her name was Caris, and basically she was maybe potentially the new villain of this storyline. Now, she's a rich girl, and she was accused of basically killing her whole entire family in order to inherit their fortune. And now she's using that fortune to rebuild Gotham City, just like Bruce, but basically in her own image or in her own way. And basically, in the end of the issue, Batgirl is confronted by these characters or these vigilantes that call themselves a Nightfall gang. And we saw basically the leader of the whole entire group confronting Batgirl. And afterwards, that's where issue number 11 picks up. We see Batgirl confronted by these, you know, new vigilante villains, if you want to call them, and basically, we see, of course, Nightfall as well, the leader of the group, and they all fight it out between Batgirl and, you know, these vigilantes. And Batgirl really doesn't do well in the fight. I'll touch upon that later on. She does fare off in the beginning of the battle. Later on, she starts actually really sucking. And basically the detective from the last couple of issues, when we first met her, basically she was running up to the hospital in the first issue and she saw Batgirl and I forgot the villain's name. Was it called the Mirror? And yeah, we see her, of course, pointing the gun at Batgirl, saying freeze because she thought that she let her partner die. And yeah, her name is Detective Melody, and she basically saves Batgirl's butt in this issue. She points a gun at Nightfall and tells her to let go of Batgirl, which she does, and tells her that if you don't let her go, I will let everything, you know, spoil, I'll let your secrets all out, okay, so don't do this. And Nightfall lets Batgirl go, and Detective Melody and Batgirl head back to her place. And when I say her place, I mean Detective Melody's place. And this is really questionable here. Batgirl actually goes into her house. And she gets patched up by Detective Melody, and we learn more backstory about Melody herself and more about Caris. And that's basically it. And generally, we also see Batgirl's brother in this issue, or Barbara's brother in this issue, who is sort of really creepy, and I think he's actually going out with Barbara's roommate at the time, or right now he's actually dating her. But yeah, that's generally all that happens in this issue. And then, like I said, I mentioned in the front cover of issue number 12, you will see Batgirl fighting Batwoman, and she will be appearing in the next issue, as she actually is spying on Batgirl and Detective Melody as they're talking at Detective Melody's house. Now, this issue, okay, like I've been talking about Batgirl each time I do a review, honestly, you know, like I said, it's always up and down with Batgirl. It's the same thing with Blue Beetle. The storyline is iffy, and I thought it was actually going to pick up after issue number 10. This storyline was going to get better. It sort of does, but in a way, it sort of downgrades Batgirl's character. Now, I have read Stephanie Brown's run as Batgirl, and I actually do like it. I read the first trade paperback. I'm starting the third one right now because my friend actually let me, you know, read her copy, which is really good. But actually knowing Batgirl, she's such a strong woman character, and to have her in this, you know, series or in this issue was really sad because of the fact that each time we see Batgirl fight or confront her enemies or these villains, she always sucks. She always sucks at fighting. I mean, I loved how she sort of did start doing really, really well at the beginning of the fight, but later on she just really, I was like, what's going on here? Why is she just all out, flat out losing? Just because Bonebreaker is just so buff. She's like Bane and she can basically easily break Batgirl. I mean, she's smarter than that. Even though she knows how to physically fight, even if she runs out of, you know, weapons or items in her utility belt, she can still, you know, stand her ground, hold her own. But it was just really sad to keep seeing that happen because this isn't the first time Batgirl has basically lost a fight. Throughout the series, even in the Court of Owls issue, she wasn't doing so great, you know, fighting against one of the Talon members, and she basically lucked out. And I just felt like, you know, I'm tired of seeing this. I want to see Batgirl flourish. I want her to fight and actually win. I don't want her to basically lose a battle and then wait till she actually learns more about her enemy and finally takes them out. I mean, it's a good way, but it's sort of downgrading Batgirl's character that she can't really, really fight on her own. And also for the matter of fact that when she actually goes to Detective Melody's house, now I say I want to touch upon this, it was I have to say, it was a idiotic move for Batgirl. She's a smart person. Barbara is a smart person. And for her to go to this detective's house to actually learn more about her and all this other stuff, it was really, 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 really dumb for me. Okay, it was really stupid because of the fact that Batgirl could have just broken into her house and seen all these pictures or other stuff and start questioning Detective Melody later on in the series. She didn't have to go to her house, get all patched up, and look at all these pictures of this guy that she was dating and basically start questioning Detective Melody, who is this guy, and blah, blah, blah. And she could have done that on her own without actually going to her house with Detective Melody there because of the fact that she could have been ambushed. Yes, she's a detective, but do you trust her better than Detective Gordon? Oh, not Detective Gordon, but Commissioner Gordon. Would you trust him more than that? I mean, honestly, this girl you barely know, this detective you barely know, she could have ambushed you in her house. She could have unmasked you. She could have done anything to you, okay, when she was patching her up. If Batgirl was bleeding, that would be worse because of the fact that if, you know, Detective Melody was smart enough, she would have, you know, taken a blood sample of Batgirl if she was actually bleeding on the arm, which I really didn't see. I thought it was just basically her arm felt like it was broken, but she used like a swab and starts wiping her arm, and I felt like, okay, she's not bleeding or anything. Why are you wiping her arm? If she broke her arm, you could have put an ice pack on it or a wet towel. Maybe it was that, but still, you know, Detective Melody, if anything happened with Batgirl, she could have took her DNA, and she even asked her, do you want a beer? So if Batgirl actually sipped that beer, put it there, Detective Melody would have had her DNA, and then they would finally find out who Batgirl was. And I felt this was just really stupid. I just felt really stupid to do that. And that's what really brought the comic book down, was basically downgrading Batgirl's character. She's not so smart in this issue. I honestly felt that way, okay? I don't care, you know, if you say, oh yeah, but you know, she was trying to find out information about Detective Melody and whatever and stuff like that. She could have done it a different way. So, on the plus side, I mean, it was a good issue. There's just a lot of questionable things for Batgirl to be doing here. Other than that, I am excited to actually see Batwoman, you know, coming up in the next issue. And I hope the supporting character in the next issue, Batwoman, would actually make the next Batgirl issue good. I'm hoping. I'm crossing my fingers here. But so far, Batgirl is still just okay. I mean, honestly, after reading Stephanie Brown and reading this and knowing Batgirl, it sort of brings my heart down to see this. I will support the series, no matter how much I feel like these issues sucks, like Batgirl or Blue Beetle. I will always see potential in them. I see Batgirl. She is a smart character. She is not like this. You know, she can do way better. But yeah, so far it's just okay. And with the whole entire, you know, her brother being a psycho serial killer, I want to see that happen, but he's just coming off really creepy and scary. I don't know how he's going to play out on this, but We'll see later on, because it seems like they're just giving us snippets and they're trying to build up on a whole new storyline with his character as a main villain. But so far it's an okay issue, I guess, if you have no problem with Batgirl. If you don't read Batgirl before, then probably, you know, you wouldn't have a problem with this. But knowing some people who have read Batgirl before and know her character, they're a bit down that they have sort of dumbed down Batgirl's character, and yeah. So I would actually rate this actually a 2.5 out of a 5 in my opinion. But yeah, that's my opinion, and I hope you guys enjoy this review and like it. But yeah, so I'll talk to you guys later, so see you guys.